Well, hello there. Hope everybody's having a good Monday so far. We're coming at you live, obviously, every single day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. This is the payoff pitch. I am, of course, Jason. He is, of course, the Hockey Squirrel. Again, we hope everybody had a nice, fantastic weekend. Squirrel, first inning. What happened with you this weekend? What's going on, man? How's it going?
I'm revamping my entire website at hockeysquirrel.com, switching over to new membership plugins, and everything's going to look way more professional and aesthetically pleasing, but also there's going to be way more cooler functionality coming to the website. A lot of reasons why you're going to want to spend time there in the near future. It still looks like the old website at the moment, but it will be looking pretty cool in a short amount of time. So
Sweet.
I've been spending hours and hours and hours on that.
Like the sound of that. I had a nice weekend myself. Obviously, beautiful weather here in Chicago. Father's Day on Sunday. Went to the zoo up in Lincoln Park. So had a nice weekend. Again, we hope everybody out there enjoyed their weekend as well. I can already tell from the comment section, Woodworker and I, we're not going to be friends today.
Oh boy.
We're not gonna be buddies by the end of the show, but cool. I look forward to justifying my pick there. So, hey, comment section is open. Let us know what are some of your best bets or what are some of the leans you're eyeing today. We'll give you some of our thoughts and opinion on those. Let's go ahead and kick off the show here in the second inning. We call it around the bases. We'll each take a couple games. We'll break them down for you. What's a game you want to kick off the show with here, Squirrel?
Let's fade Garrett Cole to start the day.
I can get
We
behind
got
that.
we got a New York Yankees and a Tampa Bay Rays game. Really, just a very simple analysis of public trap. The money is all one way, and that is on the Tampa Bay Rays with Shane Mcclanahan. Yankees are on the road. Sure, it's quite the offense to go against, no doubt. But again, in terms of how the distributions look, you got like 30% of the tickets backing the Rays and like 80% of the money, something like that. Just if the line doesn't look weird to you already, at a plus 112, I would for sure expect them to be a larger dog than that. It's just a simple play for me that fades the public and really nothing more than that.
I know these two teams hooked up just last week in Yankee Stadium. Mcclanahan lost 4-3 in his game. I think he was also going up against Garrett Cole. That might have been I'm putting up Garrett Cole's start. Just curious what he did. He won 2-0. Okay, you like the Rays today. Cool. Let's go Tampa. I'm going to go ahead and back those Braves today. Boy, I like the Braves in this spot at minus 140. Bullpen's better, albeit slightly, but the Braves do have the better bullpen. Their bullpen, though, they're giving up less home runs. They're giving up less walks. They're striking out more. Their bullpen for the Braves is a better FIP, whip, and on-base percentage. Some of those categories are kind of close, but the Braves do it all better. So, of course, I'm always going to gravitate to who's got the better bullpen. Giants, if we look at left-handed pitching, and they've got the eighth most plate appearances versus left-handed pitching here in the last 10 days. So this is definitely not a small sample size. 25th in average, 22nd in on-base percentage, 24th in slugging, and 23rd in on-base plus slugging. Meanwhile, there for the Braves versus right-handers, they're on the opposite end of the spectrum there. 6th in average, 7th in on-base percentage, 1st in slugging, and 2nd versus on-base plus slugging. Then we look at the starters, though. So now we got to talk about Logan Webb and Max Fried here. Well, we get the advantage of Logan Webb not being at home. We know how impressive he is. He's got a 2.74 ERA at home. It's a 4.25 on the road. I think he's going to struggle today in Atlanta. Max Fried has the better ERA, whip, opponent's batting average, and K per 9. So if you just put aside his home and away struggles, if we just look at his overall numbers, Max Fried does it all better. Then if you want to look at his away splits there for Logan Webb, Max Fried does it a ton better if you want to compare it to his road split. So give me the better offense by far. I'll take the better starter by far, and I'll take the slightly better bullpen. To me, it's Braves money line minus 140. Not going to overcomplicate it with that one. What's the second game for you, Squirrel?
Yeah, another game not to overcomplicate, I don't think, is some really bad starting pitching, some awful bullpens, and people like to look at the offensive numbers and say, is this going to get us to an over? Which there is one game today that, a separate game, not the one I'm talking about here, but where I see insanely good offense, and yet the distributions are all over the under. I don't really particularly understand. We'll get to that. But I'm going to take the horrible pitching in the Cubs and the Pittsburgh Pirates, not only as the starters, Caleb Killian and JT Brubaker, who both have not won a single game. Or recorded a win anyway. Brubaker's 0-7. Killian's only had, I think, 1 or 2 games played, but got hit, I think, for like 5 runs in each. Brubaker's generally good for about 3 or 4, and you get a total of about 8. So you should be right about there. The money does back that. The stats will back it, and in really everything except for offensive numbers. But Chicago's bullpen has been absolutely the worst in terms of most things, including weighted on base averages, you name it, really, in terms of pitching categories. So when Killian comes out, you're not going to get likely anyone much better than what you're starting with. So there's really nothing to worry about on the back end there either. And for that reason, I'll take a full game over at 8, and with distributions backing it and the stats making sense.
Love that right there. Cubs burned everybody this past weekend, so the Cubs owe it to us.
Absolutely.
I think everybody was on those Braves. I was on them Friday.
I was on them too. I lost a -170.
Yeah, I mean everybody was on the Braves Sunday because it was easy. It was like avoid the sweep. I think people were on that narrative, and the Braves came through. But boy, Friday, man, the Cubs just pitched really, really good. They did not pitch up to what their numbers are. Let's hope that changes today. And you can go ahead and get a cash. I'm going to move it over to this Blue Jays versus White Sox game. We've already got a comment in the chat there from Sean. He likes Blue Jays on that run line. I like more in this game. I'm trying to decide between the F5 over and the full game over, so I'm going to give them both out as a lean and maybe try and make a decision here over the next course of the next couple hours. But both of these offenses versus right-handed pitching, they're in the top 10 in every category, but on-base percentage for the Blue Jays where they check in at number 11. Otherwise, both these offenses are really elite right now versus right-handers. Both of these bullpens are about middle of the pack, so obviously that's going to gravitate more than likely towards an over. From a starter perspective, Lance Lynn versus Barrios here of the Blue Jays. I mean, what are we going to make of Lance Lynn? Only one start, was really impressive last season, so don't really know what to read in with him. I think with Barrios, you're going to get a couple runs off of him, especially with just how hot offense this White Sox is. So I just thought in a game between two really good offenses, bullpens relatively neck and neck, even though they are middle of the pack. There's not a lot of separation. Why are we trying to figure out who's going to win this game? I like the over. I haven't quite pulled the trigger yet. It's at 9.
I do too.
It dropped down to 8.5 briefly. Now it's back up to 9. Help me out, Squirrel. Should I just get behind and just bet it? What should I do? F5, full game? What do you think?
I honestly laid off due to not only the line movement, but also due to the money distribution. It's slamming the under, but I think in terms of statistics, the over. I'm completely with you. This is the number 1 and number 2 offense currently. I know you do your research in the last 10 days. I'm seeing it in the last 14 that White Sox, at least in like batting average, are 1 or 2 right up there with the Toronto Blue Jays. And yeah, I mean, I wasn't impressed with Lance Lynn's one start that he had. I think I even had bet and taken him, so I was backing him, and it sucked. But yeah, I loved the over 9, and for how I think that line should be moving, it went the opposite, down to 8.5, and is at even. So you have the under juiced, but it doesn't make sense with the stats, does it?
No, I was
anytime I sniff out weirdness, it's like I just tend to stay away.
You just stay away. Okay, I didn't know what you were going to say. I wanted to ask you about the money piece. So the under is just getting slammed in that game. Interesting. Yeah, my stats wouldn't suggest that. That's an interesting one. Okay, maybe I do end up staying away from that, or I feel like if you're going to do it, though, you want the full game over. You want these hot bats that are just hot. You want them for all 9 innings. You want these bullpens that are middle of the pack. I don't think you do an F5 if you do it. I think you do. You take that even money over on BetUS at over 9 and just do the full game over. But I guess I'll keep wrestling with that one. So that's kind of that's where I'm leaning in that game. I like the over in that game. So let's shut up now. Let's give these guys some pitching props. That's what we'll do here in the 3rd inning, called Shut Up and Pitch. Mm-hmm. Do you have a guy on the mound? Oh, I did want to add, because I don't have it here in the 3rd inning, I did want to add to your Cubs-Pirates analysis. The one thing I loved is strikeouts in that game. You were spot on. I was looking at strikeouts. Pirates have the 2nd most. Cubs have the 5th most versus right-handers. So that could be a good angle. But anyways, you got a pitching prop?
Yeah. Let me bring up the numbers here so I'm not telling you wrong information. Yeah. Trevor Rogers under 4.5 strikeouts. Really something he doesn't achieve a ton of, and could be a potential for, to be sweaty. He kind of finishes around 3 or 4. So if you're under 4.5, expect to, be sitting there at 3 or 4 and be like, oh God, pull him. But for the general, most of the time it's finishing 3 or 4 or 2. He has a couple of 5s maybe, but something that majority of the time should fit under that 4.5, just based on historical trends and results.
Yeah, this is a guy I've been fading here. Seems like the last couple of starts got burned one time, but then got that good cash last time. So I like that one. I'm going to go ahead and look at Max Fried here of the Atlanta Braves. I think he can go over 5.5 strikeouts at minus 121. Look, quite frankly, Giants struggle versus left-handers as a whole. I mean, mentioned that the numbers are the reason why we're on the Braves run line, but with the Braves money line. Sorry, the one thing we didn't mention in that analysis was what they do from a K perspective. Well, they have the fourth highest K percentage at 27.7. If we allow Max Fried, he's gotten this cash in his last 2 starts. He's gotten this cash in 7 of his last 13 overall. And then if we look at Jose Quintana, they went up against the Giants there this weekend. He's another left-hander. He got 5 strikeouts and 5.1 innings pitched. So if you just want to compare Quintana's number to Max Fried, Fried will blow him out of the water from a strikeout perspective. So if Quintana was on the hook, even if Fried just goes the same amount, 5 innings, 5.1 innings, I think he's more than well worth that extra strikeout. So I think he'll come home for us for over 5.5 Ks at minus 121. Did you have a second one?
Yeah, can we do anything to do with fading Chris Bubich of the Kansas City Royals? Any way you want to do that. I was looking at, they don't even have a total outs over or under for him because I feel like he probably doesn't make it real deep. So I was looking to go under there. I mean, my God, yeah.
That's the one thing that makes me nervous is when the sportsbooks don't give you an outs prop. It's like, how soon do we think he's going to get chased?
Yeah. So if we're looking at under his strikeout total is probably a better bet than how many hits he's going to actually be allowed to give up. But I mean, anything that would fade him in almost any capacity, I would somehow get behind.
I'd say Woodworker is going to go ahead and tail you, but he's probably already got all those bets in. He seems like he's on those Angels today. Love it. That's a good play. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's got some interesting numbers right there. I want to go ahead and give out another one here. What about Shane McClanahan? Here are the Tampa Bay Rays. He's going to stay under 7.5 Ks at minus 122. Faced the Yankees twice this season, stayed under 7.5 Ks, albeit he was knocking on the door, but he did stay under. It's cashed overall in 6 of his 13 starts. Faced the Yankees 3 times in 2021. It stayed under in all 3 of those starts. And this is really just a system play for me, right? I mean, he just faced the Yankees 5 days ago. He stayed under, albeit he was at 7. But when I was wrestling with, am I going to play this? It started to be like I'm getting off the play because it's the New York Yankees, and it is the team that I tend to know the most about. But it's like this is a system, right? He's seeing them 5 days later. He shouldn't have that much success. And even if he did, heck, there was an outing where he went 6 innings and only gave up 1 run and only had 7 strikeouts. So even in good outings, he still cannot get 8 Ks against this Yankees. Everything about this screams I need to play it, so I will play it. It's Mcclanahan. They're the Tampa Bay Rays. Stay under 7.5 Ks at minus 122. I'm going to throw out 2 additional leads. I think Max Fried can go over 18.5 outs at plus 145. I think he's got a real chance. With what those Giants do against left-handers, I think he has a real strong chance to go 7 innings. So I love that at plus 145. And then the other one I like is Zach Davies to have under 3.5 strikeouts. Again, that one comes in at plus money as well, plus 122. So I'll go ahead and toss out a couple leans there for you guys. All right, let's go ahead and now move it to long shots. What dog do you think can get a win today, Squirrel?
Not even joking. I like the St. Louis Cardinals at a plus 155. Reason being, the Milwaukee Brewers' offensive numbers has been kind of a roller coaster. They're very hit and miss. It feels like to me whether they're going to show up or not, and the numbers kind of represent that. I mean, they're not completely bottom of the barrel, but they're not really nearing the top either. I mean, they're just kind of middle of the road, and the Cards' bats are better. I just think that they are, and for the name of Corbin Burnes, I think you're paying more. And I kind of tried to throw this into an analogy prior to the show, but I was saying, if you buy 2 different T-shirts, you may pay more for one because of the brand name, right? Even though the cheaper one sometimes honestly has better quality or is even just the same, but because it doesn't have a name on it, it's every bit as good. It's essentially buying the generic, even though it has the same ingredients. numerically compared or statistically compared side by side, McCullis is actually really just every bit as good, and this season anyway, as Corbin Burnes is. Disagree with me there, maybe, I don't know, but
no, I'm not disagreeing with you. I looked at this game too and tried to get behind the Cardinals. I couldn't do it. I think Corbin Burnes, just the name Corbin Burnes scared me off. I thought you said that accurately with the shirts thing. I was scared off by the name of the guy, like literally, because stats you shouldn't be, as you're saying.
Well, you just said it yourself with the Yankees. I mean, you mentioned the New York Yankees, and it's like, oh shit, you don't want to go against it, and I get that, but that is where in sports betting you do have to become just a tad bit of a robot. You have to actually, go by the numbers, turn off your emotions, and make the damn bet. If because for a fact that people are going to see, oh my God, Garrett Cole, and then wham, take my money. You're going to see, oh my God, Corbin Burnes, take my money. Even though statistics or the distribution, that they will ignore everything else, get the blinders on, and go for it on those public plays. And so there's two spots really that I'm going to try to do a public fade, and that is the Cardinals and that is the Tampa Bay Rays.
That plus 155, based on those stats, should not be plus 155. I like that, Squirrel.
No, and it came out at plus 130. It's the public that's been, running up the line.
Yeah, it's just Corbin Burnes. Just run it up. And they don't have Hader yesterday because Williams had to close that game. I was watching that game because I gave out over 9.5. I don't know if Hader's coming off the paternity list today, but you may not even have to deal with Hader, too, if they come in a closing situation. It may just be Williams list? There. The what?
What list?
The paternity
what
list.
His okay. Yeah, like he had a baby or something? Okay, yeah. Cut that.
So. All right, let's go Cardinals. I think my long shot, my best one today is going to be those Miami Marlins. Sean's mentioned it a couple of times here in the chat. I know somebody else also chimed in. Brian did as well. I think the Marlins can get it done at plus 140. Trevor Rogers is on the mound here going up against the Mets. Haven't seen them yet this season, but when he faced them twice in 2021, no problem getting through this Mets lineup. 6 innings pitched, 0 runs. 5 innings pitched, 1 run. The Mets have also dropped off versus left-handers. Hasn't free-fallen. It's not down at the bottom, but when we were back in the past couple weeks, they've been in the top 10. Now they're about 10 to 15, so they have fallen off just a little bit. And I like, obviously, the regression back more towards the pack there of what the Mets are doing. Marlins offense, if you're going to talk about the Mets offense dropping back, you better mention how that Marlins offense is definitely dropping back. They are no longer anywhere near the top 10 or top of the league. They've just completely fallen back. But I don't think David Peterson's, a great pitcher. I think the Marlins can possibly get to him. They have some familiarity with him. Bullpens are close. Let's not make it sound like this Mets bullpen is still elite. You want to talk about season-long numbers, we can have that conversation, but everybody knows how I like to break everything down the last 10. Mets bullpen is struggling. For an example, they have the third worst BABIP in the major leagues in those last 10. Yeah, I love it how the gap between the bullpens has closed. I think this makes it a game where the Marlins can possibly get it done. So you're basically looking at Trevor Rogers versus David Peterson. Can Trevor Rogers beat David Peterson? His back of his baseball card says he has success against these Mets and he can get it done. So I think the Marlins could be the best bet of the day in terms of a long shot at plus 140. And I will say honorable mention. What's that?
Go ahead. I want to say something when you're done.
Yeah, I was just going to say, because I'm going to talk about it here in the 7th inning, my honorary mention goes to the Marlins.
Okay.
Or not the Marlins, That is my real pick. My honorary mention goes to the Royals. There, let everybody choke on that for 2 innings. What do you want to chime in there with, man?
I'd like to just talk about a little piece of experience of years of doing this and trying things in a ton of different ways. What you mentioned about breaking it down into the last 10 days, I do 14 days. Regardless of the sport, and this would be very difficult to do more so in the NFL. So sports with higher volumes, because that's really what what I predominantly play, right? So this would be basketball, this would be baseball, this would be hockey with a lot of games, a lot of real world data, is breaking those chunks down into recent performance of the last 10 games, the last 10 days, last 2 weeks. Those are going to be your most accurate indicators of what is most likely to happen today, right? If you're looking to make a data model, which I've been through this numerous times, I've built different types of them, different distances. So I've gone 30 days in baseball. I've done season long, in hockey. It just isn't really a good indicator. And, my hockey data model, the thing that was the absolute most profitable was the last 10 games. The thing for me that's been the most profitable in baseball has been the last 14 days. It's going to give you, there's things that happen in those clubhouses, in those locker rooms, with the coaching, with, players, whatever it is, that recency is going to give you the most accurate metric.
Yeah, you got to break baseball down in a smaller chunk. It's by far my best sport in terms of handicapping and making people money. There's a reason I focus on what's been happening lately. You got to. You cannot be using baseball full game stats here or full season stats. All right, fifth inning. Let's give these guys some hitting props. Do you have any hitting props for today?
Kinda, sorta. We both expect a lot of runs in this Blue Jays and White Sox game, and the top two guys that have seen Barrios are both on the White Sox, Jose Abreu and Yohan Moncada. Don't know exactly what the juice is on them or anything like that, but I really do expect an over, and I just don't get what the line is doing in that game. I mean, it freaks me out, but if there's an over that I would love to play other than the Cubs, it would be this game. So I would have to take somebody to get hits or runs in that game from batting perspective.
And those guys are mashing right-handers, as we've said. They've been generally mashing left-handers. Boy, they're back to hitting right-handers too. So I like getting those two guys there for the White Sox. I'm going to go ahead and do a parlay of over 0.5 hits between Gleyber Torres there of the New York Yankees. Parlayed him with David Peralta there of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Torres is 6 for 12 versus Mcclanahan, so obviously love that track record. And Peralta's 9 for 23 up against Yu Darvish. So I think those two guys can come through. Both of them will each get a hit, and you can snag that parlay at plus 141. Sixth inning time, there's a steal on the board. Let me go ahead and go first. I didn't think there was a good full-game NRFI. To be quite honest, I wasn't in love with any of the NRFI action. So I'll just pluck three teams out, drop them in a parlay, and if you guys want to play it, you can do the Diamondbacks to not score a run in the first inning. Yu Darvish. We'll talk about the Diamondbacks here in a little bit, as I've got a bet on them coming up, but offense is struggling to say the least. I think you can parlay them with the Giants. Mention how they can't hit left-handers right now. Max Fried is a tough one to hit, so I think they will not score in the first inning. And I also think the Pirates do not score in the first inning. Overall, an offense that has been struggling. I know the pitcher on the mound will give you a little bit of pause backing the Pirates to not score, but they've been struggling enough where I think maybe they'll come out cold in the first inning. So those three teams, Diamondbacks, Giants, and Pirates, all did not score in the first inning. Comes in at plus 105. What's a steal for you, Squirrel?
I'm going to say it, but I got to go. I got to go against my boy here, Chris Bubich, and say that I'm going to back the LA Angels. I'll do it on the run line, the minus 1.5. And you get the Angels at home, you get Syndergaard, and a dude with an 0-4 record and almost 8.5 ERA. No way I'm taking him. Just got to do it. Got to go against them. So I'll take the Angels on the run line.
Angels on the run line to you is your steal. What was your best bet? We'll do that in coming to a stretch. What's your best bet of the day?
I almost have two, to be honest. I don't know if I like more. No, maybe I have three. Dude, I don't know. I mean, so the thing with my bets, and the thing I find funny is people always like, are you giving your better bets to your customers or stuff like that, where it's like, dude, if I really knew which games are going to win, you know what I mean? In terms of value, the best bet on the board is going to be your Cardinals plus 155. In terms of most likely to happen, I feel that it's the Cubs and the Pittsburgh over 8.
Okay, that's your best bet, over 8 there in Cubs and Pirates. I like that right there. All right, my best bet of the day is I am going to this Royals versus Angels game, and I am going to be bold, and I'm going to go ahead and back Chris Bubich there to have himself a nice outing. I'm grabbing that Angels F5 team totals to stay under 2.5 runs at plus 110. Let's talk about recent trends here. Angels versus left-handed pitching. They have the 7th highest K percentage at 25.8. They've got the worst batting average at 161. They've got the worst on-base percentage at 30th. It's sitting 30th. And the thing you normally get about on-base percentage is you'd like to see 0.8 or higher from its batting average, at least drawing walks, getting on base. They're not. Theirs is only about 0.6 higher, so not getting it done. 28th in slugging, 30th in on-base plus slugging. yeah, just absolutely struggling here versus left-handers. And they have a decent-sized sample size. This isn't like a team that is few on at-bats. They've got a nice sample size. And obviously everybody remembers what happened on Friday. Remember when we took Robbie Ray over 17.5 outs, got an easy cash, went 7 strong. Bubic hadn't gone 7 strong. He's also not going to go near a no-hitter. He doesn't quite have Robbie Ray stuff, but boy, he's getting an Angels team that just cannot hit left-handers. So let's look at Chris Bubic. What has he been doing in the month of June? If we're going to talk about what these offenses are always doing in the last 10, we got to focus on what maybe the pitcher's been doing also kind of in the last 10. So I just want to look at what he's been doing in the month of June. Started off strong versus the Astros, 5 innings pitched, 0 runs. Then he faced against the Orioles. Orioles are still crushing left-handers. They're top 10, just like they have been for a better part of the month. We've been talking about the Orioles. That's when we backed the Orioles is against left-handers. He got lit up by the Orioles. No big surprise. What did he do in his last start against the Giants? Had himself a nice outing. 5.1 innings pitched, 3 runs. But those 3 runs came in the 6th inning, so you would have gotten a cash. It took a while to the Giants to get to him and finally break him down. So Angels can't hit left-handers. You know, this guy's been getting it done in the month of June, 2 out of 3, and the one that he didn't, again, I'll throw it out the window because those teams have just been absolutely struggling. So, and actually, if you want to look at the gaps between the Giants and the Angels and say, well, the Giants almost, would have wrecked this bet because the runs came in the 6th inning, there's a big gap. Even though the Angels sit 30th and like the Diamondback or the Giants sit, like 25th. Look at the numbers, though. It's a really big gap in terms of the numbers. Angels are 161. The Giants are, I think, 220. Let me pull it up here exactly. I don't want to get the wrong number. Are 214. So there's a big gap, even though maybe standings-wise, one's 30th and one's 25th. So I think Chris Bubic can get it done, at least through 5 innings. He's going to quiet these Angels bats that can't hit left-handers. Give me that F5 team total under 2.5 runs at plus 110 is your best bet of the day. Let's go ahead and now move to double play and give these guys a parlay. What parlay do you like today, Squirrel?
I like the LA Angels on the money line, and then I'll take that over 8 in the Cubs and Pirates. That gives you a plus 185.
Okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and back the Red Sox and the Padres as my parlay of the day at plus 142. Red Sox going up against the Tigers here. They're just the better team. I don't know what I'm going to get from this Red Sox starter, but quite frankly, I'm willing to risk it because I'm getting the better bullpen. That Tigers bullpen has completely fallen off in the last 10, and I'm obviously getting the better offense here in the Boston Red Sox. So from a starter perspective, I could maybe be a little bit nervous, but boy, I just won't be nervous once I get in that bullpen for the Tigers with that Red Sox offense. So I like them. And then the Padres, love the Padres today. Who has the best batting average versus right-handed pitching? It's those San Diego Padres at 297. Who's got the worst batting average versus right-handed pitching? It's your Arizona Diamondbacks at 176. That is just one discrepancy between these two teams, and it goes on and on from an offensive standpoint. Bullpen-wise, not a big discrepancy, but offense-wise, it's absolutely huge. I think with Yu Darvish on the mound, we talked about his home and away splits. He should be really strong here at home in San Diego. Padres, Red Sox, to me, I thought it was too easy of a parlay. Let's hope it comes through for us at plus 142. All right, we got to give these people all of our bets, and then let's talk about all of these games in rapid fire. So let's scroll up, get our bets. I'll run through mine first. I've got that Braves money line at minus 140. Red Sox and Padres, money line parlay at plus 142. Angels F5 team total under 2.5 runs at plus 110. Max Fried have over 5.5 Ks at minus 121. And Mcclanahan there, the Rays will stay under 7.5 Ks at minus 122. Looks like you've got a couple bets.
Yep. Again, it's the one that I feel like it's the most likely to hit, which is the Cubs and Pirates over 8 due to the pitching, not particularly the offensive numbers, but you still have MLB batters. You don't need a number 1 and number 2 offense to hit an over if the bullpens are the first and fifth worst. You get guys on the mound like who's starting today. And for value, plus 155, as we talked about, just way too much for the Cardinals, who offensively are better than the Brewers, not only, but also a starter in McCullers that has pretty much the same exact numbers as Corbin Burns. You're just paying for the name, I believe.
Yeah.
So
That's great. I love that you weren't scared off on that one. All right, let me go ahead and pull up BetUS. Let's go ahead and talk about all these games from a run line, money line, and over-under perspective. First one, it's the only day game of the day. Starts here in about an hour. It's the Marlins and the Mets. Marlins plus 145, Mets minus 170. I'm going to throw out the over. Obviously, I already talked about liking the Marlins. If I like the Marlins, I probably like an over. And I do like over 8.5 runs.
Yeah, I like that. I don't think I'd want to get behind the Marlins personally, but yeah, we'll go with an over.
Go with an over right there. All right, Cubs and Pirates. Again, the over-under is at 8. The Cubs minus 105, Pirates minus 115, so kind of a coin flip game right here. Brubaker pitched good against the Cubs here in Wrigley a little while ago. I kind of remember that game. Remember the people talking about it here. I do think the over is obviously a great play. I agree with you there. I'm just trying to think in my head a winner. If I had to pick a winner, I will actually pick. I'm going to go with the Pirates. They have the better bullpen across the board. You've talked about the Cubs' numbers. It's not hard to have a better bullpen than the Cubs right now, although theirs is not too great either. I'm going to take the Pirates. If I had to pick a winner, I'll take the Pirates.
Yeah, we talk a lot about, like if there's an over-under that's like apparent, then why try to take, why try to pick a winner? Like this is one of those games I just wouldn't try. But yeah, I'll stick with my over 8.
I'm with you right there. Yankees and Rays. Yankees minus 130. Rays plus 110 with an over-under of 6.5, folks. You don't see 6.5s too often.
No. At this point in the season, I'm gonna take a quick look. So if the season is 2022, because I've done this before, and the total is 6.5, right?
Mm-hmm.
The over is 36 and 28 unders. So that would put you at 56.2% on the over, making it slightly profitable. An ROI of 4.1% on the over when you get a 6.5 line this year so far.
I like that. I also like the Rays too at plus money. Rays do good at home versus the Yankees, so I do like the Rays at plus 110.
Either take an over or the plus 110 on the Rays. Yeah, it's a complete public fade against Garrett Cole.
Tigers and Red Sox. Tigers plus 165. Red Sox minus 195. To me, if you just want to play the Red Sox alone, not in a parlay, just do the Red Sox run line at minus 105. I'm paying for the offense, and I'm fine with that. Big advantages.
Yeah, not taking no Detroit Tigers. Tell you that.
All right, Giants and Braves are up next with an over-under of 8. Giants plus 125, Braves minus 145. I think the Giants just came off of a losing series because didn't they lose Friday? They definitely lost yesterday in a walk-off. I thought they lost Friday too. Either way,
they've not been good. I don't know. The bats have just been awful. They can't get on base, can't hit the damn ball. I'll take Max Fried and the Braves.
Yeah, I think that was an easy bet. Tweeted that one last night. It got to minus 145 on BetUS. It's now come down to minus 145. I'm not sure why people are jumping on the Giants, but that's for them. Cardinals and Brewers, over-under of 8. Cardinals plus 150. Brewers minus 175. I'll take the Cardinals. I'm not gonna fall in the trap of being scared off of Corbin Burnes. I'm with you. You got me. I'm with you. The numbers suggest it.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect.
Blue Jays and White Sox, over-under of 9. This is the one where you say the money's on the under, but the stats would certainly suggest an over. So I'm going to stick with my gut and take the over here as my lean.
I would stick with my gut and take the over. Absolutely. Not a question. Over 9.
Royals and Angels. We got an over-under of 9. We got Royals at plus 160, Angels at minus 190. I'll just throw the Royals money line out there at plus 160. Although that being said, the Angels have a better bullpen. I wouldn't want to mess around with the full game money line. If I want to back the Royals from a money line perspective, just stick to the first 5. If Bubik can't get it done, you're in trouble. So you're making that play because it's today's starter. Just do the F5 money line.
Bubik can't get it done, and I'll take the Angels on the run line for that reason at plus 105.
All right, like that pick right there. Diamondbacks and Padres are last one of the night with an over-under of 7. That one surprised me with Zach Davies on the mound. Wasn't expecting to see a 7 when that line came out. Diamondbacks plus 145, Padres minus 170. Much like the Red Sox, just take the Diamondbacks alone if you want on the run line. Or the Padres.
Padres on the run line?
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Diamondbacks on the money line.
Diamondbacks on money line plus 145. All right, cool. That'll do it. I'll do it this Monday. All right, well, we got some good bets. I've seen some good bets. We got some people back in Vlad Guerrero. Got people back in the Blue Jays. I'm either going to look like a clown tomorrow with this Bubik pick, or I'm going to look pretty smart. So do me kind, Bubik. Be cool to me. But to everybody else, good luck with your picks. Let's cash all of those bets. Have yourselves a Monday. Kick off another week here, and we'll come back tomorrow. We'll do it all over again. Thanks for everybody joining. Thanks for all the comments.
Absolutely. Have a good day, buddy.